Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to make a little different type of video than I normally do. It's kind of similar to the old discussion videos I used to make back when I was super into Overwatch, but pretty much what it is just my thoughts and opinions on different things going on in the gaming industry or news or world or whatever like that. But today I wanted to talk about payment models in video games and how it can correlate to how great an esports scene for a game grows. And so you might be thinking, oh, why are you talking about two of those topics in the same video? You know, payment model and the esports scene of a game, you know, those don't go together. But the thing is the payment model of a video game can actually greatly influence how great of an esport the game actually becomes. Obviously, there's other factors that go into whether a game becomes a successful esport, like how good the game is itself. You know, you're not going to get a crappy, Candy Crush isn't an esport for various reasons. But, you know, like, there's other reasons that influence how good an esport actually is, but one of the main things is the payment model, and that's for three main reasons. First of all, the original price point of the game is pretty big, so if it's a free-to-play game, it's obviously going to have a better chance to become a bigger esport than a full $60 AAA title game is going to be. Second of all is, obviously, if you have any pay-to-win mechanics in your game, that is going to greatly hurt your chances of becoming a great esport. And thirdly, how well the developers actually promote, you know, tournaments and prize pools and stuff like that. So one of the main reasons I'm talking about this is just lately, you know, over the years, it seems like it's become a lot more normal for games to be $60 and then charge $50 for a season pass and then have pay-to-win microtransactions and expect itself to become a good esport. And that is not going to happen. And so one of the main things that caused me personally to just think about it a little bit more is I was wanting to play a Call of Duty game. I had been itching for a Call of Duty game lately. I know, sue me. But I was looking at Black Ops 3, and it had like a multiplayer thing for Steam. So it was like if you paid $15, you could play multiplayer. You just couldn't play zombies or campaign, or you couldn't prestige or anything like that. But you could just play multiplayer. And I was having a lot of fun with it, so I was kind of looking at, you know, maybe getting the full game. You know, I was looking at, you know, season pass, what all that kind of encompassed. And so so what I found out is, you know, it's the $60 game. If you want the season pass, it's like $50, and then there's these microtransactions, and they were originally like they're like these loot chest things, so like Overwatch, and they started out being only cosmetic stuff, but then they started adding new weapons to the game, but they put them in the RNG systems and had it the highest rarity imaginable. And so you can earn these chests in game, but you're never, it was like a 0.09, it was like every 100 chests that you opened, you would only have a 91% chance to even get a single ranged weapon. And some of them are very good, and so that is so pay to win. Like, you can't even just pay directly to get what you want. You have to pay to have a chance to win. So it's even worse than a pay to win. And they were like surprised at why they weren't an esport, like, you know. And let's just look at the complete opposite. You have Valve's Dota 2. The game is completely free to play, and there is no pay to win. It's not like League of Legends and all the other MOBAs where you can just buy heroes before grinding them out. In Dota 2, all of them are just completely free, and the only way they actually make money is through cosmetics. So stuff like sets or chests, or every now and then like a Compendium, but I'll talk about that later. Another Valve game, CSGO, it's $15, so it's not free to play, but it is pretty cheap, and once you buy the game, there's no season pass, there's no like pay-to-win microtransactions. They just make money through the initial price of the game, but mainly through these cases that they release that cost like $250 to open, because in CSGO, you can't actually, like, it's not like Overwatch where you can get those chests just by grinding out the game. You pretty much have to buy them, like the keys for them. And so there's this whole economy and stuff like that, but obviously every game company can't be like Valve. Valve is a pretty huge company. They have like a monopoly on like PC games pretty much, because there is Origin and Uplay and Green Man Gaming and all that stuff, but it's Steam. They practically have a monopoly. And so, you know, if you're an indie developer and you're making this new shooter game and you want it to become a huge esport, the thing is you might not be able to make it free to play and only have cosmetics to make money. You might not make enough money that way. And so there's been a kind of influx of new indie games that want to be esports, and a lot of them have these kind of like payment models like League of Legends or stuff like that, where there's a bunch of heroes and you have to either buy them or you have to buy them or you grind them through the game, but obviously it's faster to buy them. And so like you have things like Battle Right, you have things like Paladins, kind of stuff like that. And, a lot of people will say, oh, these are just like progression systems because you can still grind them all. But if you have two players that are playing at the same time and they're the same skill, if one person has money to spend and the other doesn't, a lot of the times the person spending money will have an advantage because there'll be a new hero released or something like that. And they could be good and the person might not be able to afford it with like gold and stuff like that. So obviously the first main issue with it is, with making your game a great esport, is not being pay to win. Overwatch was a really good example. Although it hasn't, pushed itself as a super, esport like CSGO or stuff like that, it's getting there. And one of the main reasons is because there is no pay to win. You buy the game and there you go. That you have the game. All future content and updates are free. They just make further money through the cosmetics and the chests and stuff like that. And I'm personally fine with, loot crate systems like that, as long as they're only cosmetic. The one problem with Overwatch, though, is it is $40 on PC and $60 on console, so it is a full-priced game, and that can be kind of hurtful for an esport, especially since most of the popular esports are games like, Dota and League of Legends, which are free-to-play, or CSGO, which is only $15. So obviously, the original price point of the game is going to be a huge factor as well. And the third main thing that's kind of similar to all these that I think is really influential is how much the developer actually promotes tournaments and stuff like that, for the esports. And so like in Dota 2, I'm going back to Valve, Dota 2, every big tournament there's this thing called the Compendium, and you buy it and you get a bunch of like cosmetic rewards, and there's like these quests you can complete to get more cosmetics and stuff like that, and like a percent of the prize pool goes directly, or the portion of the Compendium price goes directly to the prize pool. And so it's promoting people to watch, and you can make predictions for who you want to win. And as an example, Valve CSGO. If you're watching tournaments and you have your Twitch account connected to your Steam account, you have a chance to earn these really expensive drops. So the last big huge tournament had a crap ton of viewers because some people might just be watching for the drops, but it doesn't matter why people are watching it, as long as you have those viewerships, because that helps with sponsorships, that helps with prize pools. And it just helps the scene as a whole, because it's kind of funny, but how you make it, the main way you get a successful esport is by having a lot of casual players that don't want to take the game super competitively. Because if you have all these players that are watching tournaments, that's you're not going to have a lot of pro players watching tournaments. They're in the tournaments. You need the big player base itself to actually promote an esport. And so one of the best ways by doing that is making the initial game as cheap as possible, making sure it's not pay to win at all, so everyone has the same advantages the second they start up a match. And third of all, just to promote the tournaments and stuff like that through the actual games. Like, there's a small little fighting game that just came out of Early Access called Rivals of Aether, and it's kind of like Smash Bros, but for PC. There's this thing where you can just get, if you like pay $5 for the Compendium thing for upcoming tournament, it helps the prize pool, and it also, you get like a reskin of one of the maps, which is really cool. So in my mind, if you're a company that can do it, I think obviously the best way to help grow an esport, if you want your game to become an esport, is by making it free to play, making there absolutely no pay to win, and just promoting the game through stuff like that, where you could have cosmetics and stuff like that if you watch these tournaments and stuff like that. And obviously, if you're an indie developer, that can't necessarily afford to make your game free and to have only cosmetics, you can try to do that. Just the one main thing is make sure you do not ever make it pay to win at all. That is one of the #1 things that will make your game unbelievably anti-competitive and stuff like that. But yeah. So these are just those are the three main things I think apply to payment models and how you grow the esport. And obviously these were just my thoughts. If you have any other thoughts on the topic or whatever like that, let me know in the comments down below, because I really love having these discussions with you guys and stuff like that, and I love hearing what you guys think about it. And yeah, so also if you enjoyed this type of video, then definitely tell me in the comments down below, or if you have like a topic you want me to talk about, let me know, and I will happily, you know, look at all that stuff. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content and news. And like always, guys, see you next time.